the way you want to look at this is it really is a retail play, because that is most of your income's coming off of the retail side. And banks are really liking retail right now. I had a call with a mortgage broker the other day, and he was saying there's more appetite for retail out there than multifam right now.
Well, I would say specifically because of the location here, like one of Toronto's like most sought after neighborhoods. Welcome back to REI Hot Seat. Andrew Hines here with Jacob Campanaro. Been a while since it's just me and you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. Sorry, I'm hiding behind my computer. Hold on.
Yeah. So we got a Toronto property today, which Toronto's interesting for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of the epicenter of everything that happens. So if something's happening, Toronto's going to feel it significantly, good or bad.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's just, high level, what your thoughts are when you have a listing in Toronto to start.
Yeah. So your buyer profile is slightly different in Toronto, right? Mm-hmm. Although it is the epicenter. Oh, high foots there. It's the epicenter, as you mentioned. At the same time, the cap rates are still more compressed there than you will find in southwestern Ontario, rural Ontario.
Yeah. In other words, Toronto's always the most expensive market for what you're getting, no matter what. Like that's been true.
The land is more in Toronto
for pretty much ever.
Never mind cap rates, just the land it's sitting on is more in Toronto. So
goes the same with any major city.
Yeah. So historically, and this is what this episode's about, and why this episode's really going to be really interesting for a lot of our viewers. Historically, Toronto has been kind of that like untouchable, institutional groups only. You got to have a lot of capital to purchase, and things like that.
Yeah.
And what we've seen in the last little bit, which may tie into our episode next week, which is market update, we're starting to see, the everyday Joe being able to buy in Toronto, whether that's through creative deal structuring, whether that's through just general deal making, CMHC transactions. There was a deal we've done on this show quite a while back now, Kingston Road, which was a sixplex, Toronto Beaches, really nice property. So that one is under contract, closing soon, straight to CMHC, 85% LTV, very straightforward deal. You're going to buy it with like $200,000-300K.
Yeah.
And that's a prime property in Toronto.
And that's just being able to go straight to CMHC means that the sellers are at least willing to work. They're not getting bombarded with cash offers.
And thus is the cool part about this, right? Is that Toronto is not that untouchable anymore. The deals we're making in Toronto are just the same as we're making in southwestern Ontario, just the same we're making in rural Ontario.
Yeah.
So people are needing to get creative. Things are happening here, which is very cool. So
very
today,
cool. So we're segue into this property,
So today we're talking about a property that I'm going to be taking to market in, call it 2-3 weeks. We're just gathering all the little bits and bobs before we take this to the market. So this is a mixed-use building, meaning residential and commercial mix. So you have a ground floor of 3,600 square feet commercial, a lower level of another 3,600 square feet commercial, and then an upper level of 3 residential units all around 1,100 to 1,000 square feet.
You got basement commercial there?
Mm-hmm.
How do you have basement commercial with a street front like that? They got windows on the back or something?
No windows.
No windows.
No windows.
Yeah, I guess you can do that with commercial.
You can do that with commercial, and you can do it in Toronto. That's for sure. Because there's stuff all over the
cubicle.
place. Yeah. Anyhow, so just some quick photos if everybody can see that. I'm not showing it the proper way. You know what? Let me do that. Let me go over here.
Just click the photos.
Give everybody kind of a back end tour of our listing program we use here. So I'll just go to some photos. So, not yet. There we go. Okay, so this is the building. So built in 1971.
Okay.
By the owner today, who still owns the building. It was built as a family grocery store. Really nice building. And so this is located Dundas West. So this is actually Trinity Bellwoods is the area code.
Okay.
Really prime location, very busy, lots of street traffic. The commercial right now is occupied by a month-to-month tenant. They're paying extremely under market. They're about $8,000 a month.
What kind of operation are they?
It's a marketing agency, ad agency, something like that. And really, they're just using it as like a quick spot because they only want month to month, and the landlord didn't want to fill it. So this is the interesting part about this deal is now I am personally working on filling the space of the long-term tenant. We're working with small pharmacies, Rexall, a couple other groups like that. We're working with, funny enough, Sherman-Williams paint store. So we're trying to bring in a good AAA tenant that's going to take the main and the lower.
Yeah, and
or
like,
just
do they need that much space? Because it looks kind of large for like a Sherwin-Williams.
Yeah, it's 3,600 square feet. So the main floor would work for that.
Yeah.
Lower level would be, for example, we can put, the tenant that's upstairs, we can put them downstairs, right?
Yeah,
so
the
downstairs is
could
more
be in
like
the basement.
office use,
Yeah.
things like that, right? Ideally, we find somebody that wants to take both floors. Basement becomes storage or whatnot. But they do have 9-foot ceilings down there. It's quite a nice basement.
9-foot basement ceilings. Okay, so that's pretty good.
So again, this is just still the main floor. Good space, lots of window light, corner lot, so you get a great exposure, got good signage opportunity, nice kitchenette built out in here.
Yeah.
So they've done a great job with it, right? Polished concrete floors, epoxy. All the windows are new. There's a new roof on this building as well that was just put on. Anyways, I'll just get
so
through
something like
these.
this, just like super high level, like
Yep.
from an investor's standpoint.
Yep.
Like what's the real benefit to like looking at a piece of property like this?
Yeah. So the one reason why I like this property so much over some of the other multifamily listings or, traditional res listings is because you have that retail component. And that's going to give you stability, long-term stability, if you find the right tenant. And we've talked about this on other episodes, right?
Yeah.
So I've shown true industrial, I've shown true retail. Now we're kind of going mixed
Well,
use.
do you see a cash flow play here?
There is, yeah.
And what are you having to come in with to get cash flow?
Yeah, and we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Is
You're
it like
you're
a
jumping the
30?
gun.
Yeah, but like ballpark, like a 35% down kind of scenario?
Yeah, you're 65% LTV on this.
Yeah.
But there's also creative structures that we can dive into.
Okay,
right?
yeah, but just so somebody willing to come in with that kind of down payment,
Yeah,
and we
'cause
haven't
you're
even got
getting-
the price, but
You're getting
but your cap rate's going to be way better from a buyer's perspective. Than,
correct. You're looking
than
at
it would on a multi.
looking at high fours, 5 caps, and you'll see I've done a 5-year spread. So by year 2, you're already into the mid fives,
Okay.
and then by year 3, you're into the high fives, and so on and so on. The key component here is that commercial tenant, right? There's 3 res tenants. Now, these units are all 1,000 square feet, really nice units. That's not an issue. It's easy management. And again, that's why people would like this type of asset. It's clean. The owners just put a new roof on it. Like, there's a lot going for this. And I'll just kind of run through some of the res units here as well. Like, that's one of the residential units.
So they're done really well. Same person who did the kitchen downstairs, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm just sorry.
Got the was that parquet floor? No.
Yeah,
It's,
parquet floor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so that's what all the units look like. And I'll flip over to this here. And so I'll show you the rent roll to start. And so it's a very basic rent roll. So you'll see we have commercial lower level, commercial main, 201, 202, 203. There's 3 vacancies currently. So I'm showing the commercial is vacant. As I mentioned, we're working through that. So I would fully expect anybody who's buying this building would be conditional upon us placing a new commercial tenant in there.
Okay.
Okay. Market rent for the main floor is somewhere around $40 to $50 a foot. I'm
Okay.
running it at 45. Put it right in the middle.
Does something like this work for like a brewery or something? I know they got that brewery down there. I'm just thinking like obviously
Yeah.
that's like a prime.
It works for a brewery, works for a restaurant. The zoning's extremely flexible.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the key component here. I'm not saying this is a buy it as is because it doesn't make sense as is, but we put a new commercial tenant in there, somebody good long term. We get you a 5 to 10 year lease. You can pretty much set it and forget it with that commercial tenant. It's a triple net. They're going to take care of all their utilities. They're going to pay 75% of all the taxes, etc. And they're going to come in. So that's 45. So it's about $13,597. The basement we're running at $25, which is right on par with basement space.
All right.
That's $7,000 a month. You have $288,800. That's due for a rental increase in December. So that's going to go to $2,950 pretty much.
Okay.
You have 1 vacancy, which we have on the market right now for $2,750. Very confident with that number.
Can you make those a little bigger?
Yeah.
Just so I can see them better.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then you have the last unit there, which is occupied, $3,000 a month, also due for a rental increase in December. They came in July 24. So decent tenant mix. There is parking here.
You said they've been there for how long? They're
so July. So 201 was July
2022, and then they had a 2024.
And then you had a 2024.
Yeah, I'm just curious down there, like how long do people typically stay?
Yeah, like
you're not getting your lifer tenants in this building.
No, you're not getting lifer tenants. Well, first off, you're charging market rent, so you're going to avoid the lifers because lifers tend to like.
Oh yeah.
Not market
You're
rent.
already in that spot where as long as they haven't been left there since 1996.
Right. And so that's nice. You're not dealing with those low paying tenants here, right? And so
imagine if you had somebody from 1996.
Oh my gosh.
They'd be paying like $350.
Yeah. And so the way you want to look at this is it really is a retail play because that is most of your income's coming off of the retail side. And banks are really liking retail right now. I had a call with a mortgage broker the other day, and he was saying there's more appetite for retail out there than multifam right now.
Well, I would say specifically because of the location here, like one of Toronto's like most sought after neighborhoods, at least for like younger like demographic. Yeah.
It's a great little area. So that's kind of the scope there. There's a little bit of parking income. We'll touch on that. Market rents, you're pretty much at market rents there. So again, really, like I said, the main thing here is that commercial space. This podcast is tailored towards investors, so I'm not really going to talk about end users, but there is a big segment there who might be interested in this building to say, I want to run my shop on the main floor and have some res income coming in, right? So that's another whole thing, but we'll talk.
Yeah, like an owner-occupier kind of scenario.
Yeah. And so I do this differently than Dave, right? Don't get shocked. But this is what we look at when we're listing these properties. So I'm going to go through and bring a realistic breakdown of the expenses. We're not doing CMHC financing because it doesn't qualify.
Yeah, CMHC won't touch the...
No.
Once it's over 25%,
30%.
30%? Okay.
Yeah, so 30%
commercial, they won't
or
do it.
more commercial, or 30% and more commercial is no go for CMHC. Okay. So again, we're going to break this down. I always like to run my performance multi-years, right? So you can see I'm running a 5-year on this, assuming we bring in a 5-year tenant on the main floor. We want to see what the escalations are for those units. So again, we have our commercial revenue, 66% of our gross effective income, and that's assuming market rents at 3% escalations, which is usually the going rate. We've run the res at 2.2 increase, so that's the standard increase for 2026 coming up.
Okay.
There's parking available from the city, so it's $1,000 a year. You pay the city, and the city gives you 2 parking spots on the street. What this landlord done is gone back and upcharged the tenant, so he's making $100 a month off of that parking.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So he charges it what, $200 a month?
12.
Or $1,200 a year?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought so the city's 12. They want 1,200 for the 2 spots. Oh, and then he just gets because he has 2 spots. So then each one brings in 1,200.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, smart thinking.
Yeah. So it's not too bad.
An old European guy who owns this.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
And so we always talk about that, right? We say, hey, we want the old Italian guys. I think these guys are Portuguese. Yeah. Anyhow, so building's really clean. Anyhow, I want to run through this quickly so we can kind of talk deal structure. We have our recovery expense. So if anybody watched our old episode, so recovery is your commercial triple net TMI or CAM. So essentially the commercial space is paying a portion of your taxes, maintenance, and insurance. Here we're running it at $5. $5 is actually under market for the area. It's usually about $8 a square foot is TMI.
All right.
So just keep that in mind.
Are you just estimating it?
We're estimating, yeah. Well, so basically,
ultimately, it should cancel out.
So our estimate, what we've done is taken how much square footage of the building is commercial. It's about 75%.
Yeah.
So then we're saying 75% of the taxes, maintenance cost, insurance cost, utilities, they pay for themselves.
Yeah.
And then any of the little stuff, we basically took 75% of that and wrote it into that $36,000.
And that works out to be about the 5.
Roughly, more or less, yeah.
So that's where that came from.
It's probably about $6 realistically, but again.
But the point of that is so that's revenue at top. You're still going to show the full expense at the bottom, but it adds to your income.
And then usually we throw in an administration fee. So it's very standard in lease agreements to say I have a 5% administration fee on the rate. right? So that's just to make it worth your time. Because again, charging triple net is actually quite a bit of work. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, the bookkeeping headache is obviously the annoyance.
So make the administration fee enough to cover your bookkeeper.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it's not even just the bookkeeper. The thing that I know all too well is the annoying job in a company is the financial controller, the person who makes the payments, and a lot of times the bookkeeper's not the one doing that. So yeah, you want to cover your time if you're the one doing that.
Yeah. So then again, we have our vacancy, right? Run through that really quick. We're running 2 separate vacancy rates. So what I like to avoid is a blended rate. A lot of agents out there on the market will show mixed use and they'll just blend the rate. Right. And in my case, blending the rate, whatever, it actually does work out to be about the same. But if it's majority res and you're blending the rate, you're actually weighting the res vacancy versus the commercial, but the commercial should be higher. So what I've done here is we've taken the commercial income and we've applied 5% vacancy to that.
Okay.
And then we've applied the CMHC vacancy, which now I see I spelt incorrectly there, so we got to go fix that, at 2.5%.
Okay.
And then, so that's our total 15,000 a year there. So our gross, 382.
Okay.
Okay. And then we have our expenses. So property tax, 41, insurance, repairs and maintenance, we're running at 5%, management, 4.25%, water and solid waste, gas, electrical, and other. So you'll see that this building's set up really efficiently for the hydro side of things. Commercial tenant pays all their own.
Okay.
The only water we're paying for is for the res units and the laundry. The only hydro we're paying is for the laundry and common area.
So there's a separate meter for the commercial, but not for the res. The res is all in one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we're separate meters for gas for everything.
Okay.
Right. So you're $600 a year in gas. We pay basically no gas.
Beautiful.
And I have all the bills for this. This is proven. This is factual.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about the way this is presented is that's sort of how, at the end of the year, your accountant would put that on your financial statements. So it's nice to see it that way. Like the triple net, like you're still paying it, but you're collecting it up front as a revenue. So
yeah, because I always like to do that, right? Another thing to watch out for, guys, when you're running through these types of deals, a lot of people will just say, "Oh, it's triple net." So essentially, your gross income is your NOI, which I disagree with strongly. And a lot of people will show buildings that way because they'll say, "Oh no, but it's triple net. Everything you take in is being written like," and that's not the case because you have fees, right? Like you'll see, I put other here, a percent of other, $3,000 a year, and that's hot water rental, street parking, fire inspection, banking, and fees.
Yeah.
Right. So there's always little things you're not going to be able to recapture fully.
Yeah, for sure. That's why you got to have that administration.
You got it.
There's some things where it just doesn't make sense to try and track it and bill it back. You know, then the tail's wagging the dog, so to speak.
That's it. So anyways, long story short, asking on this building is going to be $6 million. So it puts us pretty much around a 5% cap rate. You're looking at a mortgage. You're going to be 25-year AM. So that does hurt you on your mortgage. Your payments are heftier. You're looking at about 5.5 to 6% interest rate, for argument's sake, and you're going to be looking for a debt service about 1.25 to 1.3.
1.25 to 1.3. Okay.
All right. So you're going to have banks that will be able to bid on this because there is appetite. People are interested in this type of product. Banks want to lend on retail product right now. Like I said, they're very bullish on it, which is exciting.
So you'd be able to get the commercial arm of any of the big banks to look at this.
Exactly. So anyhow, so that's kind of the deal in a nutshell. Now, how does this get sexy? Why would I want to buy this? You know, what the heck? It comes down to the fact that this family's owned it since 71. So they own this cash. There's no debt on the property. Right, they have big capital gains to pay, and I'm really interested to see how we can structure some sort of vendor take back. Are they financing the whole thing themselves? What can we do? So this is a great situation for somebody who's been trying to break into Toronto, is interested in mixed use, interested in retail. Come bring us a proposal, right? How can we get these guys to fund some of it, all of it, right? The nice thing is it's not CMHC, so as long as we can figure out how the debt servicing works, the banks will allow a second position or a VTB behind the first.
Okay.
Right, which is also very cool. So we can do a first, second structure, and I've worked all this in the background. If anybody,
well, they'll allow it
has
as long as your DSCR
that
still
services.
works.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
that's the trick. Yeah, and there's quite a few lenders that'll allow it, but you do have to make sure that you're still at hitting the 1.3 or 1.35, whatever it ends up being.
Yeah. So
Easier said than done sometimes.
easier said than done, but I have been able to make it work.
On this one
On
or
this
in
one.
general?
On this
Okay,
one,
gotcha.
yeah. So we've run a few different scenarios. We're looking upwards of, I could hopefully get you 75% LTV on this.
Total?
So boost you up an extra, 10% there.
What type of term do you think the sellers might go for?
I don't know. We have to work through it, right? So, really nice family. Obviously, this is not something they do every day and sell buildings. So we have to kind of work through that with them. And I honestly, my goal is to bring them a couple different scenarios on paper and say, here's the one I would suggest, right? And work through them with that. So it's cool, but it's a great opportunity. It's such a great building. I'm not just saying that because I'm selling it, but like I've done a deep dive now on it because I am selling it. And every time I look at it, I go, wow, this is amazing. There's full storage rooms for every single residential unit that's not being charged for. So there's money back there. Yeah, there's opportunity there. And there's laundry, really nice clean laundry room facility. And the 1-bedroom unit is actually exactly the same footprint as the 2-bedroom units. So prior to filling that, if somebody's interested, we could actually look at possibly taking that, converting that into a 2-bed, which I've highly recommended to the owner. I said, if you're going to do it, convert it now.
There's room to convert it?
Oh yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, okay.
Like there's a den that's legitimately a whole other bedroom. You can just put a wall up.
You're right. Okay.
So, good opportunity. We can work through some scenarios. Dave's going to look at it as well and run it kind of more of like the buyer side of things. But yeah, if anybody has interest in this type of building, wants to break into Toronto, we have this. We have a couple other things coming online shortly as well, which we can talk about. And we can go from there. But yeah, come to us with what your capital stack is. Let us know what you want to buy, and I'll figure it out.
Do you have the summary page on this one? Like, what's the down payment look like?
I do. It's not done.
Okay, so not on this
I
one.
have acquisition financing here, but it's not complete. I'm actually just before this this podcast, I sent it over to a few of our lenders because I wanted them to like weigh in and kind of like bid on what the financing looks like. So
sure.
Hopefully,
ballpark, you're coming in with 35% plus. What should you budget for closing costs?
Well, capital gains hurts on this one, right? So that's the thing. You're in Toronto, so you do have big capital
the land
gains.
transfer
Or not
tax.
capital gains. Sorry, land transfer tax. Thank you. Land transfer tax, you have double, right? So you're almost $300,000 in land transfer.
So are you budgeting like 5% closing costs?
You'd be about 5% closing costs. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're getting hopefully 25% down, so you're in for like 30%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
30% on 6 million. What's our quick math there? 900,000?
Yeah. Around that. Yeah.
Am I way off? Excuse my mental math. I had lunch and have been a little foggy afterwards. So let's see here. 0.3 times 6 million. I know I'm wrong about that.
It's higher.
It's 1.8.
Yeah. There you go. Forgot the one.
Forgot to carry the one.
Yeah.
No.
And so again, this is something that it's a larger number. It's a larger building. It's in a prime area.
Yeah.
But again, if this is too large of a building, we have other stuff coming up, right? I have a sixplex coming up in actually the similar area. So again, what I want to say is don't shy away from Toronto right now. There's amazing opportunity. Things will eventually shift, and then that opportunity is going to dry up. When that happens, we don't know. But
well, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, Toronto's Toronto. Like, it's a world-class city. It's North American city. So if you like, any of the big American cities, I think there's a lot of the same reasons you're going to like Toronto. And the people, I think there's people who just want to be in that city for the sake of being in that city.
Yep.
So knowing that, I think, it's certainly an opportunity. I see this as more of a play for somebody who's got a decent sized portfolio already and has some cash that they don't really need to, do a crazy cash on cash return. They see the value play in the long run on a building like this.
And that is retail as a whole, right? Like when people look at retail, that's why I'm showing you a 5-year spread, right? That NOI is increasing. So what we do when we do the 5-year spread is we show rental increase on the res, escalations on the commercial, and then we increase all of our expenses by roughly about 3 to 3.5% a year for inflation, right? Because that's what's going to happen right now. We used to do 2, we brought the inflation up, and you'll see, like, if we run a cap rate on that, again, like I said, you're starting in and around that 5%. By year 2, you're 5.25. You're almost going up 0.25 of a cap every year. So by year 3, year 4, you're into the 6% cap rate. Yeah, that's when you are cash flowing very well.
Yeah.
Right. And real estate is, at least this type of real estate, is a long-term play. Right. If you're buying this, I would say buy it for generational wealth. Buy it for your kids. Yeah. This isn't going to be something you're going to try to flip in 2 years.
Yeah, it's like
that's
lots of people
buying.
do it. You take that high quality property and the location you really wanted, and you accept that the numbers aren't going to be, what Brantford, Ontario is going to yield you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And 4 years ago, that building would have sold for like a 3 and a something cap.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So you're getting it at a discount from where it used to be.
That's it. So anyways, this is the real estate I'm really interested in. I like that long-term hold real estate, right? That's the fundamentals of real estate. And this one fits that box.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so high level Toronto, like obviously, like I said, world-class city. You've got industries like across the board. It's hard to like economically keep Toronto down just because it's so diverse. Say what you will. I mean, maybe the film industry is not going to be as strong there as it used to be with some of the stuff Trump changed, but there's like that's what percentage of the total economy of Toronto.
Yeah,
it's not. So for that reason, it's that's why I would say like a city like Toronto, it's hard to cash flow, which is why I typically have just stayed away. But if you put enough money down, which getting into these commercials, you can still have cash flow and you can have your name on something that's going to be worth a lot one day.
That's it.
All right. So, guys, if you're interested in this type of deal or other deals that Jake and Dave talk about on the show, take a moment and enter your information into the form below this video or in the show notes. That's going to add you to the Insiders Club for REI Hot Seat, and basically gets you an opportunity to connect with their team, and you're going to get some goodies, deals of the week, stuff that only crosses their desk and isn't necessarily on MLS. So
love it.
Did I sum it up well?
That's good.
All right, cool.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Jake, thanks for doing this. We'll see you again next week.
Talk to them.